either way. Only one British success on the night, despite loads of awards for everyone connected with Downton Abbey. I've still never seen that. It doesn't really have any kind of draw for me, I'll be honest. But Abby Morgan, the playwright and now film screenwriter who wrote Shame, also wrote The Iron Lady. She picked up Emmy for Best Writing on a drama series with The Hour. I think it was Best Writing Drama or Miniseries. The Hour, which the BBC has cancelled. I didn't realise. I've never got around to watching The Hour. It's just picked up an Emmy, and the BBC have already cancelled it.
So almost as if they were copying America, cancelling the good programmes before they really get going.
Good programmes, exactly. It's a real shame that it's clearly a well-liked programme just by not enough people. So that's a shame. It does make me think that, I do wish we had an equivalent of HBO or Showtime or AMC in this country. I suppose there just aren't enough people to justify it or something. But
well, I mean, Sky are giving it a go. I think they're trying to produce their own programs. They started with a lot of comedy stuff. Panel shows like A League of Their Own that are drawing in a lot of viewers for them.
But they use comedy with a lot of those loosely.
Yeah, but I mean, they're trying, and I think, if they, I mean, I don't know how far they would go into producing their own dramas, but
I mean, they've made Mad Dogs, which has gone into about 4 series now, which I've never seen, but
that should have been cancelled after the first one, though. Surely, I watched the first one and I quite liked it actually. 4 good actors that I enjoy.
I've heard it's not going to be like The Sopranos or anything like that, but it's enjoyable and it's good fun without being.
Yeah, I've no idea how they got 3 extras out of it though. It was one of those where you come up with a good idea for a TV series and do it, and it's quite popular, and then somehow you've got to come up with bizarre and random reasons to get those characters back together and extend that story. And you see that sometimes with American TV as well. Homeland, for example, I'll be honest, gave up after the first series of Homeland, and that seemed like a really good idea for 24 episodes or however many episodes it was. It wasn't that many, was it? But it seemed like a good self-contained story, and then they've got to come up with increasingly preposterous reasons to keep that whole thing going.
The BBC do quite well with a lot of their dramas. They've obviously got Luther, which has been a massive success. Life on Mars, Ash to Ashes. Doctor Who obviously keeps getting renewed, and that's gone pretty big in America again now. So the BBC do pretty well. Spooks was pretty big as well. What was that?
And Channel 4 did quite a few good ones recently. I mean, what was that sort of post-apocalyptic thing they did? The Charlie Book Dead Set they did. That was really good.
Yeah,
and they did Black Mirror. I've really enjoyed Black Mirror whenever that's been on. They've only done
there are definitely British networks, channels trying it. There's not one that's devoted to just that kind of.
There's nothing that's been that's pumping money into it like HBO.
And the thing is,
then the size of British television and
exactly
and the British population, there's not really anyone that can justify it.
Although, when you look at the viewing figures of these cable shows, they only get 3 or 4 million viewers in America. Breaking Bad gets 3 or 4 million viewers for each episode in America. But for me, it's about the funding. It's the funding thing. Everything that happens in Britain has to get the ratings, or it gets axed. The reason The Hour got axed is because of ratings. Now in America, because of because you subscribe to a particular channel, so you subscribe to HBO, they don't care how many HBO subscribers actually watch that program, as long as HBO subscribers keep at a decent level. Which is why, not to the same extent as say a network, because networks rely on advertising, and so they need to have the numbers. Cable don't, which is why the Newsroom got renewed. It didn't have great numbers the first year, but HBO didn't need to worry about that, because as long as HBO's subscription numbers were high. And what I think might help with Britain is if Netflix start investing in some British talent, because Netflix are this new great model. They're not even telling people how many viewers Arrested Development had or House of Cards. They're saying it doesn't matter. We don't need to know how many people watched it. We just need to know that it had a positive effect on our overall subscription numbers.
Do you know what the problem is? People are idiots, and they're quite happy to watch.
That is the problem with a lot of things, Steve.
But they're quite happy to watch some D-list celebrity open a tin of beans on Celebrity Big Brother than watch some good television.
But without those programs that draw in people watching them, they're made relatively cheaply.
No, because if something else is on instead of it, they'll watch that instead. And if it's good telly, they've got no choice to watch good telly.
I don't know if they would. I mean,
if they're going to put shit mind rot on in front of them, that's all they'll watch.
But, something like Coronation Street, which gets, a huge number of people watching it, and it's on all the time, that brings in enough people for advertising for them to start trying to create other TV programs.
So are you basically saying, Owen, that without, I don't watch either of the particular programs I'm about to mention, if there wasn't Jeremy Kyle, you wouldn't have Downton Abbey?
Quite possibly.
Because
they draw in the money.
I see the economic point that Owen is making. They are cheap and they draw in advertisers.
Exactly.
But you know what? That's what ITV's for, in my opinion. ITV can do that. What disturbs me is when BBC start going down, and they have. When the BBC shouldn't care about viewing figures. The BBC, they are our HBO essentially. They get money from us regardless of what they put on, so they can start. There should be a mandate for them to go, we need to provide something that Sky don't provide, that ITV don't provide. The other thing, I've got no problem with Coronation Street, because you know what, that's professional, that's narrative drama, that's they're paying actors, they're paying writers, they're paying TV professionals to make the things I've got an issue with are The Only Way is Essex, where we basically paying people to be dickheads on TV.
No,
that's what I've got.
There's moral issues on it.
No, you're not paying people to be dickheads, because then they'd be actors. You're paying dickheads.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, and that I've got no problem with reality TV done properly. There's a fantastic documentary on Channel 4 at the moment, Educating Yorkshire, which is about a school. And that's what to me, that's reality TV. That is going in and looking at a reality of something that you might not understand, you might not have experience of. Interesting reality TV works brilliantly.
Well, the first series of Big Brother was.
Exactly.
But then they stopped kind of getting like just normal people into the house as a social experiment. And then they went out of their way to get the biggest weirdos, dickheads and mongs they could to put in the house because they knew it would cause arguments.
And that's the same. I used to quite enjoy Come Dine With Me. I'll be honest. I'll put my hand up. I used to quite enjoy it. There was an element of... They actually talked about the meal. That when it was originally on in the daytime, they actually showed them going out, shopping, planning their food. There was an element of a cookery show on there. They
always seem to know, they always seem to be on first name terms with like the butcher or the greengrocer they were going to.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but that it was these are normal people putting on a dinner party. But then, like you say, as soon as things get a bit popular, unfortunately, there are coked up TV executives who seem to think that all the public want are characters. And no, we actually, it just frustrates me because I tend to agree a little bit with Steve's point in that people consume whatever ends up getting put onto. I think I think the networks treat the television audience with disrespect and thinking that they want shit on their screen. And I agree with Steve. I think people will watch anything. And so if you put something good on, I think people will watch that. People used to watch TV by the hundreds, by the millions. Regularly in the kind of 80s,
when there were like
people
3
would
channels.
Exactly. There was very little choice, and people would watch. Like 20 million people would watch something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be.
No, not 20 million people didn't watch Stars in Their Eyes, but well, they might have. Yeah. But the fact is, I honestly think there was. In terms of homegrown TV, there was some quality control back then, and there just doesn't seem to be. Maybe I'm just getting old and cynical. Maybe that's the case.
Optimistic. view on the world. That's
But
very
if you don't put crap on and you only put good TV on, people have to watch it, or else what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well,
they're not going to get off their arse and go outside, are they?
In the same way that if people started just making only good films, people would still go and see them. People wouldn't be going, "Oh, I wish people were making more films like Battleship." People wouldn't be sat there bemoaning the lack of Battleship. I think.
On the same token, if you on a Saturday night from sort of 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. decided the only 2 channels you're going to show everybody, everything else gets switched off. The only things that are going to be on are BBC 4 and Sky Arts 1. People aren't going to watch it. Well, people will watch it, but they won't
what
the
else
same
would they
numbers.
do?
I think there is a good populist TV. The BBC used to do good populist TV programming. ITV used to do good populist TV programming.
I think the problem is there's plenty of stuff on kind of that's good later on in the day, kind of say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock onwards. But there isn't much on like what you'd consider prime time that's good. I suppose between 6 and 9. When like a family could sit down and watch a really good program together. There isn't much fun like that anymore.
Well, you say that, but there's
maybe you just don't watch those things, Steve.
There's so much variation in channels, though.
Yeah,
and you. Yep, sorry, carry on, Joe.
Sorry, I was just going. And now I'm going to switch points because I'm just playing devil's advocate for fun here. Millions of people watch Miranda, for example. I think it's a hideous program. I hate it. I hate that program. I don't think it's funny. Millions of people watch it, but millions of people watch it and genuinely like it. They do. They're not programs like that. They are watching because they genuinely like it. Mrs. Brown's Boys. Yeah, but people watch it because they genuinely like it. I hate it.
Who are we?
But I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. I cannot argue with. Yeah, there is genuine trash TV which shouldn't be on, but. Yeah, and that I am seriously talking about The Only Way is Essex. I think there is no moral excuse for that being on our television screens. I think it's a hideous abomination of television. But
people watch it.
People, but they're kind of people I think should be sterilised. And seriously, anyone who watches The Only Way is Essex, they're morons.
If you go on Jeremy Kyle, you should be taken around the back of the studio and shot at the end of the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far.
This is turning. I mean, by the end of it, we're going to be saying, "Right, and we'll ban this race of people, and we'll."
Yeah.
No, not a race of people. Just the kind of people who go on Jeremy Kyle, who want to put their problems out in public for the whole country to see, and be manipulated by some puppet master pretending to be doing it for your own good, but he's not. He's doing it as his own selfish gain. Take him around the back and shoot him.
Yeah, but
this Emmys news got a bit out of hand, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we're going with this anymore. I think
I've no idea.
We're going to a break, and then we'll be back after a break with a kind of.